my friends. I have some interesting information that I thought that I would share with you. I find it interesting. Now, let me start off by saying I am not tall, okay? I'm not tall. I'm just under 5'8". I'm a flyweight too. I don't think I could make strawweight unless I really had to, and I would probably lack energy. I'm sorry, I'm doing something with the remote. Okay, so I'm not big, man. I'm not a big guy, and I don't really care what somebody's height is. I just find it interesting that if you think about Napoleon, right? You think about Vladimir Putin, which one's taller? Which one's taller? Vladimir. Vladimir is taller by 1 inch. 1 inch. Vladimir Putin is 5 foot 1 inch, and he's 135 pounds. Who would have ever guessed? It's like these super not tall guys that like had this like, well, we're gonna invade a country, and that's Vladimir Putin for sure. 5 foot 1 inch. I thought he was taller than that, and then I looked it up, and I'm like, really? Oh, you assumed he was shorter than 5 foot 1 inch? It's pretty, that's not real tall. But I don't really care what somebody's height is, and certainly somebody that's short doesn't, they're not gonna be like Vladimir or Napoleon. But there's that myth of the Napoleon complex. He's taller on his horse, yes. But I mean, 5 foot 1 inch for a guy, that's pretty small. I mean, I'm not big. I'm just under 5'8". So, like, you see him standing next to the Chinese dude, Chi, or whatever his name is. He looks pretty short. I don't know how to pronounce his name. I'm terrible with foreign names. It's a real problem. Do you know how long it took me to pronounce Lutzy? I had to have the owner explain it to me. He said, think nutsy. Based on how he acts, it's, I just had no idea it was 5'1". Well, I am sort of like, I'm under 5'8", but I'm like, it's about density it's muscle density. Listen, knowing that Vladimir, he'd have to lose a little weight to be a flyweight. But I'm not going to say it, I wouldn't have thought he was 5'1". I thought he was a little bit taller. I thought he was about my height, but he's nice. 5'1" and about 135 pounds. So, and he doesn't look real good, so maybe he's about 145 because he's like, really like, I don't know if that's true about that Napoleon. Yeah. Yes. That's the man's name. Thank you. Whatever. I can't do it, man. I can't do it. I got to hear it and then say it. I'm like verbally dyslexic when it comes to foreign names. I swear to God. Although Vladimir, I can do no problem. Because of Vlad the Impaler. That's sort of strange too, isn't it? There's another Vlad who wasn't very tall, who was sort of horrible. Sort of horrible. Is it just a coincidence? I'm sure there's a lot of people named Vladimir that are like decent, I'll tell you, if I had if I had a baby, hypothetically, I wouldn't name it Vladimir, or I wouldn't. That's just me. If I got a dog, I wouldn't name it Vladimir or Satan. But and I wouldn't name it Napoleon. And a fun fact is, like, dogs with tough guy names always end up being a mess. Never name your dog some tough guy name. They're always a wreck. But a raven, Samson? Samson's a tough guy name. Right, Sammy? Sam's trying to go in my pockets. I told him after this stream I'll go get him some pork. You know, me and Destiny are going to watch Dune. She has a way that we can watch it on Hulu. You know, she's like this hacker. You know, she's going to get us a Hulu subscription, temporary Hulu subscription so we can watch it. Because we're not paying for it because that's like $7 or something. Yeah, well, Google lies, okay? Google lies. Jesus Christ. What is that, Vlad? Vlad's coming here to my channel to like say, no, I'm not. I'm actually, no, we know you're 5'1". We don't care. You know, hey, quit doing that to my pants, man. What, your dad's a mega nerd? I know that he's a computer geek, right? He is. I believe it. It sort of makes sense. He's got a daughter that's sort of nerdy too, right? Sort of makes sense, right? You're a computer whiz kid. I am too, but I'm more of an art and oh, I know that. Yeah, you don't have to be the computer whiz. You know, you don't have to do that to be a nerd. Like PL's a nerd, a pigeon nerd, right? And filth. She's a filthy nerd, right? You know what I'm saying? She's an expert in filth. Don't tell her I said that. She's not gonna know because she's not on the stream, so she's never gonna know. But she is an expert on pigeons. She'll do things with like she'll work on birds, like she worked on my favorite game. I don't know what your favorite game is, but like, you know, she can like get a bird that's egg bound. She used to be a game tester. That's right. I remember that. I remember her saying that. I baked bread today. I'm sure Vladimir never bakes bread, and I bet Napoleon never baked bread. But I made a loaf of bread, and it sucked because I had it rose. I got yeast this time. Instead of using yeast that was 2 years old, I actually bought some yeast. It rose, and then somehow I fumbled, and the pan dropped, and then, you know, because it's filled with air, it just sunk. So I added a little bit more yeast and sugar and let it rise a little bit more. Sliced bread is way better than Putin. Yeah, and yeah, I agree. I agree. He's got issues. Like, how much money is enough? He doesn't have enough. You know, there's no difference between Vladimir Putin and somebody that, like, robs somebody on the street and when they're robbing them, shoots them. There's not much difference, except Vladimir's worse because it's happening to not just one person. It's like, how many people? And, you know, the Russian people in the Russian army, I hold them responsible for their deaths too. It's like some ridiculous amount, like 15,000 Russian soldiers are dead already, and 7 generals have been killed. That's unheard of in battle. Generals aren't killed in battle. You know, that's crazy. And if they can kill him, they can capture him too. He's one of those guys that if he encountered them, would immediately tell him they need therapy. Yeah, there's something wrong with him. He's broken. Worse than therapy, he needs to sort of be like, you know, he's a psychopath because he has no empathy, clearly. He doesn't have empathy. He cares about, you know, getting more land, man, would you leave my fucking crap alone on my, it's taking the paint off my hoodie. Here, come on, here, get up here, Sammy. I was gonna put you on my shoulder, Dick, which I never do. he's a psychopath, clearly, because, I mean, just, like, well, I'll just bomb a hospital. Like, is he laughing about this? Like, oh yeah, let's take out that kids hospital where they have it's a large maternity hospital too. Let's just bomb the pregnant women and the children. That'll teach him a lesson. It's like he has no scruples. Like I'm gonna win, and it really doesn't matter. 5'1" though. It's strange that he's 5'1". It is. It's so weird. I had no idea. I mean, I'm like 5'8", so like he would be like up to here. I would be looking. What's up, Vlad? You're a loser, dude. I'd be looking down at him. Dude, you're a loser. Dude, you're not so tough after all, are you? He's not tough because he throws missiles at people. He bombs people, so he's clearly not tough. It's all a facade with that guy. It is. It's all just fake shit. I really love when he plays hockey with the Russian Olympic team, which is one of the best hockey teams in the world. And Vladimir makes 3 goals. Gee, I wonder if that's set up. Do they just let him do it, or are they told to do it? Or are they afraid, so they let him do it? It was pathetic. I loved it when after the game was over and he's taking his victory lap, and he stumbles and falls on the ice. What a tool. What a tough guy. He reminds me of a president that we had not too long ago. I hope they do something similar to the Nuremberg trials when all is over. Vlad is a war criminal. Yeah, but he can't, they'll probably never get him out of Russia unless, like, he's thrown out of office and somebody with scruples gets in there. So it's sort of unlikely that they'll ever drag him, to the Hague. So, but I mean, it's possible. I would assume that if Alexei Navalny gets in office, he would probably hand him over. He poisoned the guy. He poisons his opponents. I think it's fair. I mean, there's too much proof of like what's going on in Ukraine. We have a free press over there. What's up, Uniquities? Yes, it is made out of a junction box. It is. And you can pop up the bottom in case you want to like clean it or something. Yeah, it is. It's a junction box. That's correct. It works real good. Thank you. I appreciate it. They're probably not going to get him out of Russia. But I mean, there's plenty of proof. I mean, there's press from the UK, from Germany, all over the world are documenting this. The only country that probably isn't getting, is Russia, because he doesn't want his people to know. I just wonder how many people actually do know, though. Some people would know. Some people left. Supposedly 200,000 people left Russia trying to get the hell out of there. Intellectuals, artists, like, fuck it, we're leaving. Who would want to live there with that? Who would want to live in the former Soviet Union? They had bread lines and stuff. They couldn't get Levi's. If you had Levi's, you could check Google what Levi's were worth back in like the 70s. If you went to Russia, you took Levi's with you, they were, I don't know, like $1,000. They were worth like equivalent of like $1,000 or something, a pair. Where you could buy Levi's for probably $15 back then, maybe 10 or $15. The borders, there are people still leaking through the borders, but I don't think everybody can go through the borders. I don't think that that's the case. I heard that there were a lot of questions asked. People want out. They really want out. People with money have more of a tendency to have freedom than people without money. So if you're poor, you're stuck. You are really stuck. I feel sorry for the Russian people because we could have ended up like that too, That's another story. But, birds of a feather, they like each other. It's his bro, man. It's his bro. How do you like to live in North Korea? You have a dictator that, they have like, I think Russia was like, gross domestic product was equal, like what they could make was like equal to like Italy or something, maybe even less. I think Microsoft is worth more than the country, that whole country, something like that. It's a huge country. It's not much. So you have Putin that spends a lot of money on war stuff, right? But then North Korea, they're really poor. Now, it's very common that when somebody skips out of North Korea, makes a run for it, they get to South Korea, those people have worms. They have worms, man. It's filthy. It's just like, it's poor people. Talk about bad nutrition. That's another country. You can't just walk around and take pictures. You have a minder with you. You have somebody that's following you around. You better not do anything wrong. Oh yeah, I remember that Microsoft had enough money to pass off the debt to all of Greece. Yeah, I believe it. Yeah, there's these countries that just, but Russia's huge. But what do they have? They have pig iron, and there's a lot of grain that comes out of there. Maybe nickel. I think that they have a lot of nickel mines. Gas, I believe, natural gas. I think they're big on that, and oil. But that's sort of like, like how many products do we see at Walmart that was like a Russian-made product? None. We see a lot of stuff from China, because China can, you could say whatever, they make a shitty product, but do they really? It's, it's inexpensive. The design is going to be better than Russian. Have you ever seen Russian design? It's horrible. It's horrible. I'm gonna talk about my personal experience, okay? They have titanium. That could be true. They have some metals that we need for batteries and shit. My experience with a Russian product was a gun that it was a 12 gauge I bought. It was a over and under, and it was put out by European Armory. It was made in Russia, and it was being sold through the Remington name or something like that. Remington was selling them for a very short period, like a year, maybe a year and a half. And I thought, well, Remington's stamping their name on it. It's made in Russia. I'm going to get it. The price was right. I was like, So I get it. I'm looking at it at the store. I'm like, oh, okay, yeah. It's nothing fancy for sure. It's really utilitarian. But you really can't tell until you shoot it. So I take it, I get home, maybe a month later, take it out and I shoot it, and it's like shooting a fucking log. It's like swinging a log up, It's like, it feels wrong, it's just sort of heavy, it lacks a design sense, like, how, yeah, I agree, Russian guns are fucking shit. They might work, it worked fine, it functioned fine, but it was like, how hard is it to consider design? Like you look at the Russian cars and stuff. How hard is it just to make like something with a little bit, it's certainly not Italian design, I'll tell you that. Now Disney was saying something about like there's obviously there's fashion there. You know, it's like a lot of those former Eastern Bloc countries like Poland and everything. There's high fashion there, and there's high fashion in Moscow for sure. So she was talking about a designer. I don't know who it was, but I'm sure the designer's leaving, trying to get out of there. Yeah, Berettas make a, yeah, I like a Browning of all the guns, but Beretta's real sweet. But, you know, it's like, it just has a, like when you look at the one dude that goes around and shows you what's in the stores, it just looks horrible. You know, and even the dude's like, look, see, our stuff is like, this is just horrible. Like, look at our rotten products that we have. Now, they have some, you know, products that they were getting from the U.S., but not anymore. Nestle, Kimberly-Clark, all that kind of stuff. But the stores are just like, you know what the stores remind me of? They remind me of like a Dollar General, only worse. I would see stores like this when I lived in New York City, like in Brooklyn, just sort of like shelves with stuff on them. Maybe if there was a sign, it was really lousy. You know, in the store, it'd be like just printed on some paper and tacked up. It's just really bad. Like, that's the whole thing about human beings that sets us apart from, you know, other animals is that, you know, we make art. You know, we have this aesthetic. So I'm not saying that there was zero aesthetic used, because if zero aesthetic was used, it would just be, well, let's just make everything white, brown, and black or something. But it's just a real bad aesthetic. You know, it's just like, and I'm not saying that there haven't been, you know, Russian artists that were great. Obviously, there's been literary masters coming out of Russia. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying general design, please, you know, they're wearing a lot of stuff from the West, I'll tell you that, and they're not going to be getting it anymore. So I think a lot of it, like I had friends in Brooklyn. I started hanging around with these Polish people. I met them through the apartment building that I was in. And yeah, I was just friends with them. I was back when I was drinking. They drank a lot. It was a party every weekend. And, you know, they just accepted me because I was an artist. So it was like this kind of like group of people from Poland, intellectual, fashionable, you know, other artists, you know, living in New York City. So I saw that there, and I saw that like there's really like a sense of like being high fashion. You know, they were really into it. The dudes would come over, you know, looking like dandies. The women were always dolled up, always dressed up, where I'm like wearing this kind of crap, you know. But it seemed to me like they were all like, once the wall fell, they're like, fuck it. You know, we want to look good. It's been too gray. Everything's gray over there. So they just like, they missed it. I'll tell you, Russia's going to be missing it again too, because, you know, who's gonna be shipping them Italian goods? I don't know. Is Italians, can they still get? I know the U.S. is not, you know, doing anything with them. They pulled out. It looks like Spain did too, because that one Stradivarius, that company, it looks like they pulled out of there too. So I'm sure that there's other countries that are just like, screw this. We don't need this. You get Putin out of here and we'll come back in. I think McDonald's, come on. Is that really going to hurt McDonald's financially? No, it's not. Those are all franchises, I think, anyway. I think McDonald's are franchises, so people own those. You pay money to get in the franchise, and then you're buying the products, and you have to do it a certain way, whatever. You know, like you can buy a Wendy's. So McDonald's is just like, well, we're not giving you Yeah, a lot of countries left. We're not gonna, we don't want to have anything to do with this. You really can't use our name, but they're probably gonna try and do it anyway. To check Pumpkin's breathing, I just need. How's Pumpy? Is Pumpy okay? But I was like hearing like there's a lot of disinformation being put out with the propaganda channels, like they're in the stores, and this one Svetlana or something from Russia, whatever. So kind of like this overdone blonde look, not my cup of tea. If she's walking down the street, you might turn your head, flat, just not my cup of tea. Okay? Attractive woman. But, so her whole channel is like that Dan guy's channel. Like, you're gonna like me, I'm a friendly Russian, blah, blah, blah. This is beforehand, I was watching old videos. That's sort of how those channels were. They were set up like, this is my lifestyle, this is who I am, and you're really gonna like me. So it turned into the same thing of like, this is how shitty sanctions are for us. Unfortunately, dealing with clogged sinuses from pollen. I need to pick up allergy medicine in the morning. I might give her a warm bath to help her sinuses. Oh, that's adorable. Mango's got a little thing going. But so she's in a store, Svetlana. She's in a store, and she's over by the baby section. And she's like, I don't know. See, there's no diapers. I don't really know where the diapers are. That's what she says. She said, I don't really know where the diapers are, but I don't see them. Well, here's the deal. That conglomerate that owns, like, Mars, that makes Kit Kats and also makes like it's part of Kimberly-Clark that makes the the diapers and the baby food and all that. They stated we're still feel obligated to make sure that they get baby food and diapers, but we're not sending Kit Kats over there. So she's just full of it. I think it's just like they want this appearance of like, oh, we're really getting screwed. What about the people in Ukraine? The Ukrainians, they have like decimated many parts of that country. It looks like Dresden. Like, wow. Mariupol or whatever, that town is like, where to go? It doesn't make any sense because if they're trying to get the country, they're destroying everything. Everything needs to be rebuilt. Did you guys hear about Louis C.K.? His career is so drowned out that he has to do stand-up in war-torn country after getting canceled. I don't know what you're talking about. I mean, I know Louis C.K., but what war-torn country is he doing that in? And if you want to talk about Louis C.K., wow, what a disappointment. A brilliant dude, but there's a lot of people that might be brilliant, but they're also so screwed up. Like, can you imagine? Like you're an intern or something, somebody says, hey, I want you to go take this script over to Louis' place. Oh, no, I don't really want to go. Last time I went there, it got really weird, Talking about the Ukraine. What? He's going over the Ukraine and working? What are you talking about? Found out that he has to do stand-up in a war-torn country after getting canceled. I didn't know he was working in the Ukraine, but anyway, can you imagine? Like, it would get around real quick that he's got a stand-up show in the red zone. That's what I've heard. Well, I don't know any of this, so I'm not going to comment on them. But I am commenting on Louis C.K. It would go, one chick goes over there to take the script to Louis. And supposedly it was like talking to him, real like, oh, okay, thanks a lot. And he goes, you don't mind if I do this, do you? And just start, stroking it. Is that the term? Yeah, man, I want to go. Can you just wait? I'm not finished. talk about weird, you know? Talk about weird. Like what? Hey, knock it off! I hear you! I've never heard that. Well, I was very disappointed in Louis C.K. When I first heard that, I was like, he did what? No. But see, there's a lot of, I hear a lot of things that people do, and I find it hard to believe. Like, really? Like, people do that? Like, you know, I'll tell you the one dude that got really screwed when all that was going on was, God, what's his name? So, Indian dude. He's short, not as short as Putin. You know who I'm talking about. It sounded like he didn't do anything. Like, it sounded like he tried to kiss some girl on a date, you know? That's the way she described it. Yeah, he tried to, yeah, Aziz. Yeah, he tried to kiss this girl, and she's talking about it. Like, yeah, he tried to kiss me. Yeah, you were on a date with him, you know? Did he throw you down or anything? No, he didn't do that, but he did try and kiss me. I'm pretty sure I wasn't sending off that vibe. You know, it was something like that. It was just like, it was real bizarre. It was. I thought, like, out of all those stories, I thought that his was like, he's working again. I know he's working again, which is good because it sort of seemed like he got screwed. Like maybe somebody didn't like him, like, or something. You know, maybe he said something that was off-putting. I don't know. Yeah, and I mean, I wasn't there. Clearly, he was there, and so was this woman. But her description, it just sounded like a date that wasn't so great, and maybe he thought that he was all that or something. He was gonna get some. Sam, you better knock it off. Get some action, and just like was reading signals wrong, you know. That's what it sounded like. I don't know. I think that he just, you know. Hey, man, Sam is really bothering me. Oh, everybody was defending him? Is that true? Yeah, that's probably a good thing. I didn't keep up on it. Man, Sam, if you don't get away from me, I'm going to get pissed. Why are you doing that, man? You want to come up here? That is not a good way to get attention, son. Do you want to come up here on my leg? Come up here. Come on, Sam, let's go. You're being a dick, dude. Come on, Sammy. Do you want me to get you porking a little bit? Don't do that, man. It's my Achilles heel. Get away from me, man. What a tool. Sam wants me to pay attention to him, and I'm not. He's like Putin. He's real short, so he's sort of being a dick. Oh, he heard that. He's more like Napoleon. Napoleon, a little bit classier, probably, you know, better uniform. Putin is like gray suits. You know, that puffy coat that he was wearing. Oh, I've heard of that. They signed agreements for what's appropriate for a date. Be like, you want me to what? Or you know, are we gonna go? Aren't we going drinking? Is that appropriate? I don't drink anymore. Yeah, like what? So you sign that agreement and then you go on a date and everything's working out great. Like, do you have to like, okay, let's get the agreement out and write something in. Okay, we changed our mind. We're going back to your place, right? Okay, let's sign it. It's pretty weird. Although, there's a lot of dicks in the world, and I don't know, man. I don't know how women put up with us, right? I don't even know why a woman would want to hang out with us. Look at us. We're disgusting, aren't we? The hair on our face and shit. Lesbians make a lot of sense to me. They do. We were watching, what was it, House Party? And Anna Faris was like hugging a girl, and the frat boys were like, "Oh yeah, that's great. I get it, right?" That's like chicks fighting. Like, you know, chicks fighting is like, you know, you never know, because if they're fighting, they might start rolling around kissing. So, it was a great movie, right? House Party. It was pretty funny. It was pretty funny. I don't really know if I've seen her in anything else, but she's funny. She did a real good job. You know, seriously, she seems pretty talented. I'm really looking forward to Dune, though. I am. The bread's cooling, and I'm gonna go down there and slice a piece and try it, and then see if I can get Destiny to figure out how we're gonna watch it on freaking Hulu. It's you can rent it for $7 or something, but I'm not, you know, just rolling around and start kissing. Yeah, I know. That is how I worded it. You don't know. They're pulling hair and then they're rolling around and then all of a sudden they're making out. It's a chick fight. Yes, I do like ASMR. You mean, do I do ASMR? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. See, Beck understands. He does. He understands. But that Beck, you know, the musician, he's very talented. Yes, ASMR. No, I don't really watch it. It's sort of like listening to it. I mean, I've seen it. I just sort of think it's silly. It's usually an attractive woman that's doing it, so it's sort of, you know. I went to Bass Pro Shop today. What did you get, Slick? Did you get yourself an ugly stick, or what did you get? This version of Dune is far away the best one. Yeah, see, I watched the one from a while ago. I couldn't even make it through the whole thing. I've heard this one. This one's great. So I'm really looking forward to it. So you give it thumbs up. That's great. That's really good. I'm a big fan of science fiction. I saw bits and pieces of it, and it looked pretty awesome. I tried to read the book when I was in the Navy. Like, this friend of mine was, you know, trying to pat, you know, he's going to try this. And then I started reading it, and I'm like, man, it was just... I was like, what? What's going on? It was one of those books, I couldn't get it, and I handed it back to Nick, and he's like, what, you didn't like that? I'm like, man, I just couldn't get into it. It was too complicated, you know? To me it was, I don't know. I liked other science fiction, like Frank Herbert, The Red Planet. You know, I like that. I liked a lot of science fiction, but it just seemed like a tough read. It was like reading Nietzsche or something. I got some ammo and some water filters. Nothing good for dogs there. Maybe collapsible water bowls, that's it. Yeah, the Bass Pro Shops, I've been to one a long time ago, you know. Super dialogue heavy, but I didn't watch it because the main dude just can't stand him. Oh, is that right? I understand. I just the same way about Robin Williams. Couldn't stand watching that guy. I kept thinking he's Mork from Mork and shit. He's so obnoxious. Do you ever stop doing that, Robin? You know, does he? He's always doing that shtick. Stop. Be normal. Just never normal. Yeah, ammo's hard to find, right? I'm sure everyone... I didn't read White Fang. Ammo's still hard to find. I bought ammo right at the beginning of the pandemic, and I was trying to get slugs in case I had to shoot a deer, and all I could get was buckshot. So I took that. So I got that. So if we needed to get food, I got enough, like including birdshot would be okay. But that's, you know, I don't know, man. I don't know what's gonna go on. I do know this, that they had no 410 or slugs. Really? You got a 410? What do you have? The Judge or whatever it is? That 410 pistol. Did you say you had that? Whatever that is. My dad had that thing. It's weird. You can't saw off a shotgun, but you can own that. How's that make sense? I'd say that to my dad. He goes, well, because you can. I went to Cabela's a couple months ago and they had ammo. Yeah, check Cabela's. You can buy it online. They'll ship it to you. You can UPS that stuff. I got enough, man. I'm not shooting like. Oh, I even have like stuff for clay pigeons. I got like, I got 12 gauge for that. So if I had to, just a baby shorty. It's just weird. Like it's a federal offense to saw off a shotgun, but you can own that thing. Like it doesn't make any sense. Like to me, it doesn't. They don't ship to New Jersey. Oh, is that right? Yeah. All states are different, I guess. I hope the whole world doesn't go south. I hope that this could be rectified soon. I would think that Zelensky would be like, okay, you want this part of our country, take it and get out. We're not agreeing to anything. You could take a corner of it, take Crimea and go. And get the fuck out of here, and we're joining NATO. NATO, get in here and just put up a wall of Patriot missiles and shit. But when I think about it, I'm like, why? He shouldn't get anything. And if I was in that country, I'd be like, no, fuck no, you don't get anything. You get the fuck out of Crimea. You get the fuck out of here, period. Putin's got 60 days or it's going to get bad for him. Why do you say 60 days or it's going to get bad for him? Why do you think that's like, why do you think that? Why are you saying that? Please inform me. I would like to hear. Why do you think that? I mean, can't he just ride it out? It is really tough on ammo too. You need to show your rifle permit to buy? Really? Jesus Christ. Yeah, I agree. I agree, Beck. Yeah, if somebody came in and took Texas, everybody in this country would be like, no, you can't have Texas. You just need to go, get the hell out of here, and never come back. Well, it's just the principle of the thing. Like, what are you going to do? Like, belly up? The whole Crimea thing was fucking disgusting, But then now it's just like, oh, please, after he's done this, I don't know what the problem is with getting them the MiGs. I understand the problem, but can't you get them the goddamn planes somehow? Nobody wants to pass them up. Can't they get the Ukrainian pilots, bring them into Poland, and then fly them out of there? Or even take the jets to Germany and the Ukrainian pilots fly them out of Germany. Here, these are yours. I mean, hey, they're, bombing this country. If they had jets, they could fly into Russia and, bomb shit, which would be fair, take out where they're shooting the ballistic missiles from. Just take them out, go fly over there, and maybe they'll get lucky. Maybe they won't get shot down. The Russians would see that. I think. I would think. Only 500,000 Russian soldiers to invade Ukraine, but it's a lot of young kids who don't know any better. That's what they have. They have 500,000. Ukraine is a country of 45 million. 44 million have already left the country. You figure there must be 10 or 20 million that have guns right now. But it's like Zelensky said, we have plenty of guns. What we need is like airplanes. We need some airplanes. I mean, I would assume everybody that's still in there has a gun, unless it's a kid. I guess you have to count kids. So say There's 40 million in Ukraine, 40 million people. But that whole area that they took out is like, how do you deal with that? There's got to be at least 2 million Ukrainians with guns, right? They only have 500,000. They have 200,000 there right now. They've probably killed 15 to 20,000 Russians. That's what it sounds like. And we're not counting the ones that are injured, and also ones that have been, captured. It's a lot of farmers as well, but that's every country, so that's a given. Farmers can carry guns. I think they outlawed guns so the citizens are getting on the job. No, in the Ukraine, you could buy guns. You could own a gun in the Ukraine. They had gun shops. It's not like Russia. It's totally different. But with that said, during the Soviet times, you couldn't own a gun. So there's a lot of people there that really don't have gun experience, but you could go buy a gun in the Ukraine. There are gun shops. The gun shops were selling out. They were selling hunting rifles and stuff like that. But yeah, in the Soviet Union, you couldn't own a gun, and in Russia, you can't really own a gun. There's this myth that you can, but you have to be like rich. You can't just go get a gun. So, but in the Ukraine, you could. The gun shops were selling out real quick. So I don't know, supposedly we sent them a lot of Mossberg shotguns. So they have that for close quarters, I think we sent them some Russian mafia has guns. Yeah, they have guns. Right. They have guns. They have money. They have connections. Putin, mafia, it's the same shit, Anything that happens in Russia has to be okayed by Putin. But, if they have 500,000 people that are in the army there, the Ukraine is big. The problem is they're bombing them with those missiles. If they did have the planes, I think that's what they want to do. Have enough planes that, somebody said, hey, I'll give it a shot. Fly real low and see if you can get into the country, because they're supposedly right on the other side. I think that they're shooting from Belarus too. Right on the other side. That's where the missiles are. I think the missiles go 400 miles. Also, is there Russian Catholics? There wasn't during the Soviet times. There was no religion. You weren't supposed to be religious. Caltech is sending all the guns they're making to the Ukraine. Is that right? That's nice of them. But I mean, there's they blew up a couple ships yesterday, the Ukrainians did. There was one of those giant ships that was offloading tanks and personnel carriers. They blew that thing up. There ain't nothing like the Stinger missiles, and there's Stingers, and there's the what's the other one? They got drones over there too. I think we're giving them kamikaze drones now. Those would be highly effective. Those things would go 40 miles. You could be 40 miles away from your target, fly real low, fuck some shit up. Javelins, yeah, the javelins and the Stingers, and then the UK has something like Javelin and Stingers. They're giving them shit. Yeah, the Switchblade 300s. There's Switchblade 300, and then there's another one that's bigger, that goes even farther and is more destructive. But that's what they should do. And then I heard somebody talking about, I think that the U.S. is sort of resistant to use the Switchblade 300s because they're afraid that Russia will get one and tear it apart and make it. So, I don't know, they should have some kind of self-destruct button or something, you would think. That one's down. That one went down and didn't explode. Let's send another one to go. Oh, it's the 600. So let's send another one to blow that one up before they get a hold of it. But you're running the risk of that maniac getting those, and those things are probably highly effective. Yeah, the 600s they go far, man. You know, that's a 40 miles is a long distance away. And what? So, man, Sam, would you get the fuck out of here, Dick? You're 40 miles away. You're looking at a screen, steering your Switchblade 300 or 600. Man, he was really bothering me. There's your target. It's probably GPS too. Like maybe that's it. Yeah, they found some spies or something recently, and you know, like they took them prisoner, and like they had a lot of Russian numbers in their phones and stuff. Whether they are or they aren't, I don't know. But they also have things that like you can point it at something, and it'll give the GPS. Send it somewhere, and then they send a missile to where it's at. So you had to be there with the device to pinpoint it, right? And that's probably, the Russians are using that for these ballistic missiles. Like they have somebody in there that's like, or they don't really need that anymore because they have satellites. Well, I know we do. And if you ask me, I would think that the reason why the Ukrainian people are doing so well is that we're giving them information. I would think, which is good. You know, like where the generals were, somebody gave them that information. You know, what's up, Steve? Like either, you know, us or who else would have that kind of stuff? The UK. You know, there's just some countries that, you know, are just sort of like privy to stuff. Us, the UK, Germany, France. Probably more us, the UK. You know. We got a war machine, that's for sure. I'm gonna go cut some bread and go watch Dune, because Sam's bothering the crap out of me tonight. I am. I'm gonna go. Anyway, it's nice to see y'all. Thanks, Uniquities. I appreciate it. I'll see you guys. All right. Everybody be good.